Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us. It's Friday, July 5th. You're watching News 2 on VIA Channel 4 and 504. I'm Leslie Camisiang. Topping our stories tonight, as St. Croix continues to deal with the effects of the Anguilla land fire, St. Thomas dealt with its own major fire on Thursday night. At least 18 firefighters were needed to kill the blaze that engulfed the Royal Dane Mall on the waterfront. By early morning on Friday, the fire was out, with the fire service officials and even Governor Bryan out surveying the damage. We spoke with the governor and Fire Chief Darrell George. Here's what we know so far.
On July 4th, approximately 22:45, hotel company received a call about a structural fire at the Royal Dane Mall. 2 units from hotel company responded. Upon arrival, they found heavy fire coming from the inside of the structure. Additional units from Lima Echo Tango Company responded with about 18 firefighters and 7 pieces of apparatus. The fire was really large, so we had to bring in our aerial unit to contain the fire from up top. At the same time, some off-duty firefighters came in to also assist. At this time, the fire is out after 4 hours of battling it. It's about 8 hours now. We're still on the scene, trying to do some salvage and overhaul. Our arson investigators are here doing an assessment, and we'll be on the scene till further notice.
You have any idea what caused the fire?
No, we haven't gotten in that close because we're still in the map-up stage, but we'll keep the public abreast of what our findings are.
I'd like to thank all of the first responders, the firemen, DPNR, everybody's here responding to the fire. It's unfortunate that it happened over the weekend. I got the call over in St. John about 12 o'clock last night, 12:30, and so we've been, going back and forth. Made it over this morning to talk with the fire director. I think we got it under control at this point. It's just another blow to our downtown commerce and our Main Street area. We try to figure out how many businesses are really affected and then try to get some assistance for those people involved, business owners as well as the people who work there. We have our Department of Labor respond and we just start getting under control, but just 2 will pass. We're moving on.
Mr. Bernard Cuffey won a monumental dispute against his neighbors in the Claremont community on St. Croix. Cuffey had spoken out against his neighbors that placed boulders at the entrance of a road that provides access to his property. During his ordeal, Cuffey stated that a neighbor tried to run him down with a vehicle. Now, statements published online alleges acts of violence against Mr. Cuffey from that same neighbor.
Bernard Cuffey won a monumental land dispute. Cuffey's neighbors tried to use wealth and clout to stop him from utilizing a right-of-way access to his property at number 38 Claremont. On Emancipation Day, residents supported the removal of large boulders placed by neighbors to stop Cuffey from accessing his property. Under a local online news publication, Steve Adams, who Mr. Cuffey stated tried to run him down with a vehicle, said that he was glad that Mr. Cuffey had won the case. However, a screenshot on a popular Facebook group illustrated threatening comments by Adams. News 2 reached out to Adams to confirm if he wrote those statements, but he did not respond by news time. Statements read, "I have large clips and automatic registered weapons to defend my family from anywhere. In America, we just blow up pitiful little countries just like we did in Iraq and Grenada and Africa and Peru." At the Emancipation Day gathering, community activist, educator, and historian Dr. Chenzira Davis Kahina informed Mr. Cuffey that his troubles might not be all over and security was a large issue still.
Just keep an eye for one another. Because security, they come after us different ways.
Yes.
They come through our children. They come through our places of business. They come through various means, and we need to be very mindful of how important our security and our safety, because as quiet as it's kept, and I want to thank those young brothers and not so young brothers that are holding security spaces right now, right? Because it helps us to feel safe.
The 33rd Legislature celebrated Virgin Islands Emancipation and Freedom Week on Friday. News 2 was there and has the story.
The 33rd Legislature of the Virgin Islands Committee on Culture, Historic Preservation and Aging held their annual observance of Virgin Islands Emancipation and Freedom Week. The program took place at the Earl B. Otley Legislature Hall on St. Thomas. This year's ceremony started like it does every year, with Delroy Ital Anthony blowing the conch shell. This year's special guest was Alex Quaison Saki, namesake and relative to the first African to serve as President of the United Nations General Assembly, and Myron Alec, a representative of the Saki family.
I remember my mother, my great-aunt Zira, I talked about her later, and my mother, and my Aunt Marie, coming from church one Sunday morning, and they had the New York newspaper. And they said, they started to speak. In those days, you know, if you're a child, you see and not heard. So they were talking by themselves, and I was not listening to what they were saying. And the story, they started talking about the name they saw in the newspaper. And this was the name of Alexis Quashan Saki, which is my cousin, his name is aunt. And he was the first black UN president of the General Assembly. At about 37 years old. I should say doctor, Oxford trained lawyer.
Chairman of the committee and Vice President of the legislature, Senator Myron Jackson, talked about the role the Senate had played in the creation of Freedom Week.
Emancipation in the Virgin Islands has really struggled to be recognized. And it was this institution that, through community activism, that sponsored the legislation that created the holiday, July 3rd, to be observed as a legal holiday in the territory. The second act that was read, that was passed most recently, also reinforced the importance of us recognizing emancipation, because it was shadowed by the activities of America's independence on July 4th.
Here's some more sights and sounds from today's program.
Chevy, we all want the same place at the same time. So I ask you to bless us with that first thing. Yeah.
For News 2, this is James Gardner.
The Virgin Islands Quail Bay ambassadors, Stanley and the 10 Sleepless Nights, serenaded tramp-goers in Frederiksted on Emancipation Day. The tramp has become an annual event observing the 1848 slave rebellion against Danish colonial rule. The tramp began at the Claude O. Marco Elementary School until the Vern Richards Veterans Park. Coming up next, a shooting on sub-base in the St. Thomas led to one fatality. We'll have that and other news out of the police department when we come back. Police on St. Thomas are seeking information on a shooting that took one life on the 4th of July. On Thursday around 1:30 a.m. in the morning, police found an unresponsive black male in the area of sub-base on St. Thomas. The victim appeared to have sustained a gunshot wound to the body. Emergency medical technicians concluded that the man did not have any vital signs. The sub-base shooting victim was identified by next of kin as 23-year-old Quinlan Shetram. The police department is actively investigating this matter. If you have any information, call the numbers on your screen. The Criminal Investigation Bureau at 774-2211 or 714-9830. You can also call 911 or Crime Stoppers VI at 1-800-222-8477. Meanwhile, police on St. Croix are looking for 37-year-old Horace McGrath Jr. McGrath is wanted for 2 counts of simple assault and battery charges. McGrath McGrath is a black male with a medium build. He has a short haircut, brown eyes, and brown complexion. McGrath weighs 196 pounds and stands about 6 foot 1 inch tall. McGrath is known to frequent the Catherine's Rest and La Grande Princess Christiansted area. If you see Horace McGrath, you are urged to call 911, the Criminal Investigations Bureau, at 340-778-2211 or Crime Stoppers VI at 1-800-222-TIPS. On St. Thomas, police are also looking for 25-year-old Raiden Ortiz. Ortiz is wanted in connection with a domestic violence simple assault charge that occurred on June 15th at the Stars Hotel in Contant. Ortiz is known to be armed and dangerous. He frequents the areas of Contant and Scott Free. Raiden Ortiz is a Hispanic male from the Dominican Republic. He weighs roughly 200 pounds and stands at 5 foot 8 inches tall. He has brown eyes, a slim build, and brown complexion. If you see Raiden Ortiz, you are urged to call 911, the Domestic Violence Unit at 774-2211 or Crime Stoppers VI at 1-800-222-TIPS. Also on St. Thomas, police arrested an 18-year-old man for firing shots illegally. The report was made on Sunday, June 23rd at around 2 a.m. in the morning when the suspect, 18-year-old Tashim Monsanto, was said to have fired 6 to 7 shots in the area of Fort Christian. The individual who made the report said that they were picking up some minors when they were told that Monsanto was bothering the minors in question. That's when they saw Monsanto hiding behind a tree. They called out to him and got into a verbal altercation. Monsanto then pulled out a firearm, according to the police, and fired at them, with the minors still in the immediate area. Monsanto then fled on foot. On Wednesday, July 3rd, Monsanto was arrested in Nada and charged with illegal discharge of a firearm, reckless endangerment, using a dangerous weapon during the commission of a crime, and possession of an unlicensed firearm. Unable to pay the $30,000 bail, he was turned over to the Bureau of Corrections pending his advice of rights hearing. After St. Thomas and St. John saw their little free libraries installed in the last few months, St. Croix now also has its own. The first little free library on the Big Island was installed on Friday by the Frederickstead Healthcare Center. The concept of the little free library was introduced by the Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands to provide free books and promote literacy in the territory, particularly in the wake of the damage and disruption of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. The CFVI partnered with the USVI Department of Tourism's My Brother's Workshop, and Chant to design and build the little libraries. Funding for the project came from the Princess Cruise Line, the Community Foundation, and First Bank VI. Here's more on that story.
Take this time to acknowledge the people who made this. Chant has been working with our community on an initiative to teach young people the traditional building arts. And when this idea came up, I had the brilliant idea of doing something a little different. And Juliana, who is our art program director, designed this. And Jamahal Sanis, Watija James, and Chris. These are the young people that were tasked with building this. And needless to say, and with the help of volunteer contractor, Johnny Bulgo Hamilton, they got the measurements and then they figured it out, and it's gorgeous, right?
I'd just like to say we are happy to be a host of this library. We think it will be beneficial not only to our patients but the community as a whole. And we're all about education and literacy. So thank you.
Coming up next, your Pet of the Week plus the News 2 AccuWeather forecast. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Time for our pet of the week. This week we have a cute little critter named Nightlife. The St. Croix Animal Welfare Adoption Center tells us all about why you should take this little guy home. Here's a little more.
So who we have this week is Miss Nightlight. Miss Nightlight is 9 months old. She is a lab mix. And not only is Miss Nightlight super adorable, she's really good on a leash. She knows several commands. She knows how to set. She knows how to shake paw. And we've had Miss Nightlight for a couple of weeks. She was found as a stray out on the west side of the island near Crystal Springs, which is out near Frederickstead. And Miss Nightlight here is looking for her forever home. And you can adopt a Miss Nightlight or any of our adult dogs for only $40. All of our adult animals, dogs, adult cats are $40 and puppies are $60. And for the entire month of July, we're going to continue our 2-for-1 cat special. So for kittens, any kitten under 6 months, you can get 2 kittens for $60. And you can see Miss Nightlight and many other adoptable animals this weekend, July 6th on Saturday. We'll be at the Summer Carnival at Leatherback. And then you can also see several of Miss Nightlight's friends, adoptable animals, dogs and cats at Mango Melee on Sunday as well. And so you can check out Miss Nightlight and all of her great friends online 24 hours a day, 365 days a year at stcroixawc.org, or you can come by the Pet Place. We're located in La Grande Princess on Northside Road, right next to Food Town.
If you or anyone you know is interested in Nightlight or any of the pets we feature on the Pet of the Week, you can visit the St. Croix Animal Welfare Center on Facebook. Now let's take a look at the weather for the next few days with our News 2 AccuWeather forecast.
I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Paul Williams taking a look at your News 2 forecast in the Virgin Islands area. As we begin to put this into motion, we're seeing a bit of a moisture and a plume of moisture that's climbing its way right along portions away from the Windward Islands and will begin to make its way a little bit further to the north. And now this is basically looking like it's going to have a trajectory towards our immediate area. As you take a look at what's happening to our north, we're staying pretty unabated and unconcerned about any additional disturbances moving into our area. But we're seeing this moisture here that's stepping up, as I referred to a little bit earlier, stepping its way through portions of Puerto Rico, going up towards SDR and towards Haiti. Now within this will be housed some stronger thunderstorms with frequent lightning strikes associated with them. Now we pull back out a little bit further, we can see that moisture content right along the line will continue to slide its way more so directly towards the east. And we're picking up a little more in the way of heaviness or chunks of moisture right along that area. So for tonight, we still brace for an evening thunderstorm and dropping back to 80 degrees for tonight. Tomorrow in St. John's, we're looking for hazy sunshine. Look for it to stay a bit on the muggy side with 89 degrees for the high in St. John's. Then for tomorrow in St. Thomas, we're looking for an abundance of sunshine, particularly in the early morning hours, and then looking for it to become a little bit hazy. Might be a bit of a problem for folks who have chronic breathing problems to be out during the heat of the day in the afternoon. 89 degrees once again for the high. Then in St. Croix, we anticipate a great deal of hazy sunshine with 89 for the high. Taking a look at our marine forecast on the Atlantic side, seas between 4 to 6 feet, winds out of the east at 15 to 20 knots. And then on the Caribbean side, we're looking for the waves between 5 to 7 feet, winds continuing out of the east at about 15 to 20 knots. We're looking for that dust pattern to still stay pronounced for us as we go into Saturday afternoon and then throughout. And so that's going to continue to squelch the opportunity for any storms to form. Here's a look at your extended forecast.
Thank you for that. Now, Gary Anthony is out on vacation, so no News 2 Sports today, but we do have Alex Randall's news and comments for you when we come back. Stick around.
You're watching News 2. This is Alex Randall with news and comment. He's back. The Port Authority board chose its new executive director, and here comes Carlton Dow back on the job this week. At least he has a lot of job experience in this job. He was executive director of the Port Authority until December 2016 when he was fired without cause. Before that job, he was a senator for 5 legislative terms, and prior to that, the youngest fire chief in Virgin Islands history. And he's already back up to speed, getting some back burner projects back in action. Dredging Gallows Bay, repairs to the container port, upgrading the airports. Wouldn't it be great if we chose people for important jobs based on their knowledge and their skill instead of being the brother of the governor? What happens when we unhire great people? Beverly Nicholson Doty served 2 governors as Commissioner of Tourism, John DeYoung and Kenneth Mapp. She was really good at managing tourism, and Governor Breyer unhired her to bring on board Joe Bashulta. Now, what is a person like Beverly Nicholson Doty to do? She got hired by the government of St. Lucia to run their tourism authority. They saw excellence and a chance to pick up our former commissioner with her head full of knowledge, know-how, industry contacts, experience growing tourism. Great lady, same job, new island. Maybe it would have been smart to keep her. Wayne James. I am amazed we are still talking about former Senator Wayne James. The man served 1 term in our legislature and then turned around and embezzled $88,000, which he used for his personal needs. He was indicted in 2015 and found guilty in 2018 of embezzlement. He's supposed to serve 30 months in prison. He's supposed to be there until July of 2020. Instead, he's back asking the court to vacate his sentence, claiming the jury was unfair, claiming the prosecution showed evidence that was not allowed. He is not saying he didn't steal the money. So, Mr. James, why don't you just serve your sentence and stop trying to fake your way out? Oh, and pay back the $88,000. Another landfill fire. It amazes me. Every couple of years, our landfills in Anguilla and Bovoni catch fire and burn for days. Trash makes methane gas, methane burns. But the latest fire this weekend at the Anguilla landfill looks more like arson than underground methane burning. Heavy equipment was in the first part of the blaze. Fuel and tires were burning from the very beginning. And when the Department of Health said there was no immediate health hazard, smoke was all over the southwest side of St. Croix. People with respiratory conditions advised to stay inside. This fire is the second in 2 weeks. Last week, the transfer station burned. I wonder who's starting fires. Now, we just had Emancipation Day, and on the continent, they held Independence Day. They celebrate a country gaining its independence from a tyrant, but our Emancipation Day is far more important. Ours is about people winning their personal freedom. Our people rose up and demanded freedom. Freedom is never given, it must be won. The forces of tyranny and oppression hold on to control. It takes a fight, usually warfare, bloodshed, to win freedom. The people of the Virgin Islands should be immensely proud that the ancestors demanded freedom, stood together to demand that freedom, and with remarkably little bloodshed, won freedom. Righteousness can never be suppressed. Thanks for watching. This is Alex Randall with News and Comment. Now back to Leslie.
Thank you for that, Alex. And that's it for our show tonight. We didn't have any sports, but we're all happy about Coco Gauff winning at Wimbledon, hoping the 15-year-old takes it all. Just so you know, we're live on Facebook and YouTube and on Via Channel 4 and 504 Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. Follow us on social media. Tag us on any stories you want to see on the news or send us a message on Messenger. You can also email us at newsdirector@tv2.vi. Thanks again for joining us on News 2. I'm Leslie Comisian. We'll see you next time. Have a great weekend.